Mr. Rose?
I have a little bit of a different take on the role of the board, and as we work through this, clearly we're loath to second guess the general manager and the chief of police on a safety issue. But in terms of the role of the board, and speaking on behalf of the community and the elected and appointed role that we have, that there is a continual balance of reasonableness. And the reasonableness in terms of the degree to which individual personal liberty is infringed upon in the name of public safety. And if it's not balanced at the board, then I guess it's tested elsewhere. But I think that the board has a role in helping to balance that. And so, obviously, we could all come up with extreme examples that of where security or police decide to take certain steps that we believe in our society is unreasonable. And that's where I think the board as a policy level needs to be able to assure the public that we are applying some level of test of reasonableness and infringement of personal liberties when you choose to ride a system that for many people is not much of a choice. And many people are very dependent on our transit system in order to participate in their livelihood and elsewhere. So it's not like, you know, how much of their rights do they give up when they go through the metro doors. So I do think that when there are questions of reasonableness, that in a public forum like this, that it should be explained, tested, and whether it's a public hearing or if it's simply the board having a public meeting with our general manager, that these questions are highly appropriate. And I think that we do need to ask and also be prepared for any other measures that are looked to be implemented that will hopefully make the metro safer. I think that communication is extremely important. I think that it could be important as basic as when you enter Metro, you had no idea there were going to be bag searches, and you wondered if we're now at code red, are they expecting and looking for bags? All of a sudden they've heard that there's a bomb. What does this mean? Do they need to not ride Metro that day? I think that there's a lot to be said for communicating clearly to the public about the safety measures we are taking on this public system. And it is a public system. So I started with, clearly in our conversations together as a board, we're loath to second guess on a security issue. We don't want to be the one that prevented a security issue from being implemented, then something terrible happened. But at the same time, that threat and fear can't prevent us from exercising, an expectation of standard. And so going forward, it is good for us to know, and I would ask Chief Taborn, what is the standard? That there's certainly many measures you could use. Full body scans that we've heard about, full ID checks before you go through. There is some type of level of how you choose to use a bag search one day versus something else. And so what standard is used by the police force?